Did you know that you're already more creative than you think? In fact, studies show that the average person has between 50,000 to 80,000 thoughts a day. Yet, most people believe creativity is a special gift for a few. What if I told you it's not? Creativity is a habit, and anyone can unlock it with the right mindset. Here's something even more surprising. According to research by Forbes, 85% of jobs in the future will require creativity. That means being able to think outside the box will be more valuable than ever. But here's the catch: most people aren't trained to be creative. They wait for inspiration to strike, but in reality, creativity is something you can develop with simple habits. In this video, we'll dive into how you can cultivate creativity in your everyday life. From turning silence into your best brainstorming tool, to seeing failure as a friend, and even embracing chaos as part of your process, these strategies are anything but ordinary. You'll learn how to tap into creativity in ways you never expected, and soon, you'll be applying these habits to every part of your life, work, art, and personal growth. So, if you're ready to stop waiting for the perfect moment, to get creative and start making it happen now, keep watching. What you discover might just surprise you. Chapter 1. Unplug to plug in. Why silence sparks your genius. We live in a world where noise is constant. Phones buzzing, notifications popping up, and the rush of everyday life. But did you know that your best ideas often emerge in silence? Studies show that quiet time helps your brain enter a relaxed state, which is when creativity thrives. According to a study by the University of California, silence enhances brain activity, especially in the areas responsible for memory and creativity. So, the next time you're stuck on a project, try turning off your phone and sitting in silence for just 10 minutes. Silence allows your mind to wander, which is essential for creative thinking. Mind wandering is the brain's way of making new connections and solving problems. In fact, a 2014 study in psychological science found that people who took breaks to daydream were better at coming up with creative solutions. Imagine that. Doing nothing could actually be the key to doing more. Try setting aside a specific time each day where you can unplug from the world. Whether it's during a morning coffee or walk in the park, make it a habit. You'll start noticing more sparks of inspiration popping up when you least expect them. Don't be afraid to be alone with your thoughts. People often mistake solitude for loneliness, but in reality, it's a playground for the mind. Steve Jobs, for example, was known for taking long walks by himself to think. He believed this practice helped him come up with some of his most innovative ideas. Embrace the silence. Your creativity depends on it. Chapter 2. Fail forward. Why your worst ideas lead to your best ones. Failure isn't a roadblock, it's a detour to success. This might sound counterintuitive, but embracing failure as part of the creative journey can actually help you unlock your best ideas. In fact, many of the most successful people in history failed more than they succeeded. Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, failed thousands of times before he succeeded. His famous quote, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work," reminds us that every failure brings us closer to the right answer. When we fail, we learn, and learning opens doors to new perspectives. A study published in Psychological Science found that people who viewed their failures as learning experiences performed better in creative tasks. Failure forces you to think outside the box and adapt. It's the messy, uncomfortable moments that often spark your most creative solutions. The key is to reframe failure. Instead of seeing it as something to avoid, see it as a necessary step on the path to creativity. Take risks, try new things, and don't worry about making mistakes. The more you fail, the more you learn, and the more creative you become. One great example is Pixar. Before the hit movie Toy Story, they had plenty of failures. But they didn't quit. They used their mistakes as learning experiences, tweaking their approach with every new project. The result? A creative powerhouse that produced some of the most iconic films of our time. Failure doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It means you're doing something worth doing. So go ahead, fail forward, and watch your creativity soar. Chapter 3. The Odd Habit of Routine. How rituals unlock your creative power. You might think creativity thrives in chaos, but the truth is, routine can be the secret ingredient to unlocking your creative power. This doesn't mean you need a rigid schedule. Instead, it's about creating small, consistent rituals that set the stage for creativity. Take writer Maya Angelou, for example. She had a simple yet effective routine. She wrote in a hotel room every day, at the same time, using only a typewriter. This consistency helped her tap into a creative flow. The science behind this is fascinating. A 2007 study published in Cognition revealed that routines help the brain conserve energy. When we perform the same tasks regularly, we don't have to think too hard about them. This allows our minds to focus on more complex tasks, like being creative. So how can you use routines to fuel your own creativity? Start by carving out a specific time each day dedicated to your creative projects. Whether it's writing, painting, or brainstorming ideas, consistency is key. Even if it's just for 15 minutes, this time will create a mental space where creativity can flow. It's not just about the time spent, but about how you approach that time. Perhaps you start your creative sessions with a cup of tea or a brief walk. These rituals help your brain switch gears and get into a creative mindset. For example, Beethoven was known for starting each morning by walking around the garden while composing in his mind. The movement combined with the familiar setting inspired his musical genius. Research also suggests that the power of routine is tied to the concept of cognitive ease. When your brain isn't overburdened by decision-making, it can focus more on being creative. That's why building rituals around your creative practice works. It's like giving your brain a map to creativity, where it knows exactly what's coming next. So, instead of waiting for a burst of inspiration, try creating a ritual around your work. This could be as simple as setting up your workspace in a specific way, or listening to a particular playlist before you start. These small actions cue your brain to shift into a creative mode. Remember, creativity isn't about waiting for a light bulb moment. It's about setting the stage and giving your brain the right conditions to thrive. By making creativity a part of your daily routine, you're allowing it to become a habit, rather than something you force. And when creativity becomes a habit, it becomes unstoppable. If you're enjoying these strategies, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on unlocking your creative potential. Chapter 4. Look back to leap forward. The hidden power of nostalgia in creativity. When was the last time you looked back at something from your past and felt a spark of inspiration? Nostalgia isn't just for reminiscing. It can actually play a key role in unlocking creativity. Studies show that reflecting on past experiences can help trigger new, creative ideas. A study by the University of Southampton found that nostalgia boosts positive emotions and improves problem-solving abilities. This emotional connection to the past can actually help guide your creativity forward. Nostalgia isn't just about remembering happy moments. It's about tapping into your earlier experiences to find fresh perspectives. Have you ever revisited an old hobby or talent you abandoned? Doing so could help reignite your creative energy. For example, many successful artists and creators find inspiration in the things they once loved but outgrew. Think of it as rediscovering a hidden treasure that's been sitting in your mental attic. Your childhood can be a particularly rich source of inspiration. The famous psychologist Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." By revisiting your childhood passions, you can uncover the things that really shaped you. Maybe you used to draw, write stories, or build things. These early activities may have sparked your creativity in ways you didn't realize. It's not just about reliving the past. Reflecting on past challenges can also help boost creative problem-solving. Researchers at the University of California found that thinking about difficult times can promote creative thinking because it forces the brain to think outside the box for solutions. In essence, you can use past struggles to fuel new ideas, helping you approach current problems from a different angle. Consider revisiting an old project or revising a piece of work you once abandoned. This act of reconnecting with old creations can offer a fresh perspective and unlock new paths forward. When you reconnect with your past, you bring pieces of your younger self into your present creative process, which can result in deeper, more meaningful work. Chapter 5. The Art of Doing Nothing. Why your mind needs space to play. We often think of creativity as something that requires intense focus and effort. But what if the key to creativity was simply doing nothing? The idea of doing nothing might seem counterproductive, but research actually suggests it's crucial for unlocking new ideas. A study by the University of Toronto showed that letting your mind wander can help with creative problem solving and idea generation. When we give ourselves time to relax and do nothing, our brains shift into a mode called default mode network, DMN. This is the mental state where spontaneous ideas, insights, and creative connections happen. In fact, Scientific American published an article that claims letting your mind wander is key to creativity. When you're not consciously focused, your brain is free to make unexpected connections between unrelated ideas, fueling your creativity. One of the most famous examples of creativity emerging during downtime comes from Albert Einstein. He claimed that many of his biggest breakthroughs, including the theory of relativity, came to him while he was daydreaming or taking long walks. Sometimes, your most brilliant ideas come when you're not actively trying to think of them. Creating space for nothingness doesn't mean you're being lazy. It's about giving your mind room to play. And this isn't just a creative strategy, it's backed by science. A 2015 study in psychological science found that people who allowed themselves time to be bored were better at solving creative puzzles than those who constantly filled their time with distractions. Try scheduling doing nothing into your day. Whether it's a walk, a few minutes of silence, or just lying down without any distractions, you're allowing your mind to enter a creative zone. This small practice can lead to breakthroughs, whether it's finding solutions to problems or developing new ideas. Don't underestimate the power of rest and reflection. In a world that values productivity, doing nothing may seem unproductive. But, in reality, it's the opposite. The more you give yourself time to do nothing, the more you create space for brilliant, creative ideas to come alive. Chapter 6. Collisions of Chaos. How embracing the mess leads to masterpieces. Creativity doesn't always come from neat, well-organized ideas. Sometimes, it's the messy, chaotic moments that lead to the most unexpected masterpieces. Think of your creative process like a snowstorm. It may seem chaotic at first, but once the snow settles, you have something beautiful. Embracing this chaos is key to unlocking your creative potential. One famous example of this is the creative genius of Pablo Picasso. He didn't create perfect, polished works all the time. His process was often messy and filled with experimentation. Picasso said, "It took me 4 years to paint like Raphael, but a lifetime to paint like a child." By embracing imperfection and chaos, he was able to create his unique masterpieces. Research backs this up. A study in the Journal of Consumer Research found that people who embrace a messy, creative process are more likely to come up with innovative ideas than those who try to keep everything organized. The key is to let your ideas clash and collide. Instead of forcing everything into a neat box, allow things to overlap, mix, and evolve. The more you embrace the mess, the more likely you are to uncover something unexpected and brilliant. Chaos doesn't just refer to disorganization. It refers to breaking out of the routine and trying something different. Steve Jobs was known for disrupting the status quo with his unpredictable, unconventional thinking. Instead of sticking to one approach, he constantly pushed boundaries. This willingness to embrace chaos led to innovations like the iPhone, which completely changed the way we live. To get started, embrace the idea of planned chaos. Set aside time for brainstorming where you allow yourself to throw out all ideas, no matter how wild. Don't judge them at first, just let them spill out. Afterward, go back and see which ones resonate with you. By allowing everything to collide, you'll find patterns and connections that you never would have seen otherwise. The next time you feel overwhelmed by messy thoughts or ideas, don't panic. See it as a sign that creativity is at work. Chaos is just your brain's way of coming up with new connections and fresh solutions. Instead of trying to tidy up your creative process, embrace the disarray and see where it takes you. In fact, some of the greatest works of art, literature, and innovation came from moments of chaos. It's in those messy, unorganized moments that your most groundbreaking ideas can emerge. So, don't try to control the chaos, embrace it. Your next masterpiece may be hidden in the mess. With these strategies, you're now ready to dive deeper into your creative life. Embrace nostalgia, let your mind wander, and don't be afraid of the mess. Creativity isn't always about neat and tidy ideas. Sometimes, the best inspiration comes when things get a little bit chaotic. If you found these ideas helpful, hit that subscribe button for more tips on unlocking your full creative potential. Keep pushing those boundaries and embrace the creativity already within you.